Okay, today let's look at linear equations. Okay, this topic you have learned in Form 1 to Form 3. Okay, let's see how we can do this. Okay, so the first question is given 9 bracket k minus 6 equals to 36. Okay, and what is k? Right, so if you look at this, there's a bracket here. So what we do is this 9. Okay, we have k minus 6 is 36. So when we have brackets, the first thing we do is we multiply with each term inside the bracket. Right? So we have 9 times k, which is 9k. 9 times negative 6, which is negative 54. And on your right hand side, you have 36. Right? Now, this number, okay, we are going to move it here, right? So when you move, the negative becomes positive, right? So you have 9k, 36, minus 54 becomes plus 54. So use your calculator and you will get 90, right? So what is k? K is 90 divided by 9, right? So you get 10. So our answer here is C, right? So let's look at another example. Okay, in this second example, you can see that you have a fraction, right? So you have a fraction. So this 7 here, okay, that's a fraction. Okay, so let us write it out again. 4x plus 3 over 7 is x minus 3. So this 7, we are going to move it here. So this is divide. So when it goes to the right hand side, it becomes multiply. Okay, but here you have two terms, right? So this 7, you must multiply with both the terms. So it becomes 4x plus 3. So when you move the 7, 7 is here. But the x minus 3, we use a bracket, right? So the 7 must be multiplied with x and also negative 3. So now we rewrite. So you have 4x plus 3. 7 times x. 7 times negative 3. Okay, the next step is you gather x on the left hand side. Right, so you bring the 7x to the left, so it becomes minus 7x. Bring the numbers to the right hand side, so this is negative 21, it remains here, and the 3 comes here, become negative 3, right? So 4 minus 7, 4 minus 7 is negative 3x. Okay, negative 21 minus 3, negative 24. Right, so what's your x? Your x is negative 24 divided by negative 3, which is 8, right? So here's our answer, right? Okay, so let's go on to the third question. Okay, again you see it's similar to question 2. You have a denominator here, you have a 5 here. So this 5, we need to move it to the left hand side. Okay, so 5. And then what's on the left hand side is 3p minus 4. So use a bracket, 3p minus 4 equals to, we've moved the 5 to the left. So on your right, you have 9p plus 1, right? So now, we don't have the fraction, we've already moved it, right? Now we have a bracket, so you have to open bracket. So this 5, you multiply with both the terms inside the bracket. So 5 times 3p becomes 15p. And 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. And on your right hand side is 9p plus 1. Okay, once you've done this, gather the p terms containing p or to the left side. Okay, so you have 15p minus 9p. Okay, and the 1 stays here on the right hand side, and this negative 20 we are going to move to the right hand side, so negative changes to positive, so this is what you get. Okay, so 15p minus 9p is 6p, and this is 21, right? So your p is 21 divided by 6, which is 1 over 2, right? So here we go. Okay, let's look at another example. Okay, now in this example, you don't see any fractions, right? So, but you have a bracket, and outside the bracket, you see the number 3. And here you see a negative. So basically, you are going to multiply negative 3 with whatever is in the bracket, right? So that's what we are going to do. So don't forget the negative. Right, now 5. So 5. Negative 3 times 2m. So it's negative 3 times 2 is 6. There's an m there, so m. Negative 3 times negative 1. So the negative times negative becomes positive. 3 times 1 is 3. And on your right hand side, you have 5 plus 3m. Right? So you have to do slowly so that you pay attention to the sign, whether it's negative or positive. Okay, now we gather all the terms with m to the left hand side. So I have negative 6m. And the 3m comes over here, becomes negative, equals to, okay, all the numbers on the right hand side. So the 5 that's already here, you write first. And this 5, you are going to move it to the right. So here is positive 5. So when it moves here, becomes minus 5. And the 3 also, you are going to move here. So this is positive 3. So it becomes minus 3, right? So let's look at the left hand side. Negative 6 minus 3 is negative 9. It contains m, so m, right? So on your right hand side is 5 minus 3, which is negative 3. Okay, and so the value of your m is negative 3 divided by negative 9, which is 1 over 3. Okay, so now let's look at something a little more challenging. Okay, so I hope you have understood so far. Okay, let's look at this question. Okay, why is this considered difficult? It's because there's a fraction in front of p. Okay, so it is 2 over 5p minus 2 equals to negative 3, 5 minus p. Okay, there are two ways to do it. What you can do is can get rid of the 5 first. Okay, so you multiply by 5. Each term you have to multiply by 5. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep the fraction. So it becomes this way. Okay, 2 over 5p minus 2 equals to, okay, we get rid of the bracket, meaning the negative 3 you need to multiply with 5 and also with negative p. So negative 3 times 5. Negative 3 times negative p, negative and negative, positive. 3 times p is 3p, right? So move the terms with p this side. So you get 2 over 5p minus 3p. And on your right hand side is negative 15. Okay, the negative 2 is moved to the right. So negative becomes positive. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Okay, so what happens now is, okay, how do we do this? Okay, you can use a calculator. Both the terms here have p, right? So you just focus on the number that is 2 over 5 minus 3 and put the p outside. Okay, for this, you can just use your calculator to find the value. Okay, and this also you can use calculator to find the value. So what you will find here is negative 13 over 5. This is what you will get. Okay, so once you arrive here, and what is your P? Okay, you need to move this fraction to your right hand side. So P is negative 13. Okay, what happens when you move this fraction to your right hand side is you multiply by, okay, the 5 over negative 13. Okay, so what you get here, the negative 13 and negative 13 cancels out. You are left with 5. So your P is 5. So let's go back and see the answers. Yeah, there is our 5. So answer is A. Okay, so I hope you have understood, okay, some of the ways to solve this kind of problem. Okay, so we have so I let you see. So we have brackets and fractions. Okay, so these are some of the examples for linear equations. So I'm going to give you some questions. Please try the following exercise.